Okay, so some parts are poetry, so putting them in English is more poetic license. Anyway, Civ is a either or sort of thing, but the these citadels laugh of armor-bearing Tridonus, or going correlative to this up here, the inhabited land with a Spartan colonist. So this up here is referring to the Acropolis in Athens, apparently. In the home of the Sirens. So this is the land with the Spartans and the home of the Sirens. Let him give, or may he give, his first years to verse, which is poetry. Let him drink with his lucky heart or his blessed heart, the spring of Moenium, the father of Homer. Okay, so whether this citadel's laughing at him or this land or the Sirens, let him do these verses, let him drink in from this spring of Homer. Soon, also, when he's planus, when he's filled with the Socratic herd or the members of the Socratic school, let him loosen the reins as a free man. He can shake the arms of huge Demosthenes. Hink, henceforth, a Roman band of, I guess we're doing authors since we're dealing with schools of thoughts and verses. Let them flow and unburdened, exonerated from Greek melodies. This modo must mean tunes. He can change his taste when he's suffused with this sound. Meanwhile, you can give free course or speed when his pages are taken out of the forum. When he's away from the forum, we can give his pages a bit of a running room. Fortuna is one of the options. I think there's 4 different spellings. Fortuitous is the other one. Furtiva is the main one. So furtive means secret. Anyway, with a speedy me too, this is a bit like cursus. Anyway, so if we take this as furtive, then secretly he's giving sounds with a quick running here or something. Okay, let him give feasts and wars. So fortune was going with distinct, it just means it's clear. In memories or reminders of in truculent song, and the grand words of indomitable Cicero. This here is an alternate spelling as well, which would be imitating, and minato more means threatening or something, but if we take that as imitating, so he's got grand words imitating Cicero. Might as well change this and take the N out. So imitate the words of indomitable Caesar. This looks like a typo as well. King, it means girt up. It's an imperative. Girt up your mind with these good things. And thus, as a large river or swelling river, when you're filled thusly as a full river, pour out from your pector, from your heart, the words. There's a Mount Perio where the Muses live, so that's that word explained. 6. While I was hearing rather diligently him, I didn't note to myself the flight of Asclepius, this other person here. I don't really see why that's there. We'll take that out. Put it over here. And while in this heat of words, I was going. Into the garden isn't in other versions. Anyway, while this was happening, a huge turba, a crowd of scholastics or students, came into the porticus, as it appeared I don't know who, but someone who had received these persuasory things of Agamemnon. Extemporaneous means on the spot, and the declamations are what we're talking about, these practice speeches you make for the courts. And so anyway, while it was in the heat of these words, there came in a crowd of students, as appeared from Nescio Cuius. It's more adverbial, I think, than anything else. Anyway, Okay, so it's someone who follows the style of Agamemnon. Suasery is a type of declamation with a specific goal. Anyway, while then the young men were laughing at these sententias, these epigrams, and they were infaming or laughing at or not treating it with full respect, the order of this whole way of speaking. With the opportunity, I subducted myself. I went away and cursed him, and in a hurry, I began to search for Asclepion. Said neck, but neither did I diligently know the way. I didn't have a grasp, tenabam, because I was not knowing neither, and where the place was, where the stabulum was. No, it's not a horse stable. This is another word for the an inn or something like that, a place where you stay. And so, Irem, wherever I was going, quocumque, to wherever it was, I would revert back to this same place. So he's wandering around, keeps coming back, doing a circle, until, fatigued by all this cursu, by this walking around or running around, and now maddened with sweat, now soaked with sweat, I went up to a certain little old lady who was vending holus agreste, vegetables from the countryside. 7. Rogo inquam. So I ask you, mother, I said, a bit like Apuleius when he called a woman he just met parent. They seem to address strangers as family. Whether you know where it is that I inhabit, where I'm staying. She seemed to be delighted. Illa was delighted with such a stupid person who was urbane, who was using manners. Why shouldn't I know, she said, and she concurred. She got up and began to precede me. She began to walk, and I was behind her. I was thinking she was divine. Et Sabindi. Sabindi usually means immediately after or from time to time. So immediately after we came into a locum secreti, a more secret place. The urbane old lady rejected a curtain. She pulled back a curtain and said, and she inquired, "Here's where you ought to stay." When I denied myself to recognize this home, I saw certain, amongst the title cards, certain nude whores walking around furtively, secretly. Tarde, slowly, or more precisely, or rather, now late, I understood myself having been led into a fornication den. Fornix is archways where they have prostitutes. I cursed Itaque, and so I cursed the insidia, this treachery of the old woman, the little old woman. I operied my caput, I covered my head, and through the middle of the lupanar, through the middle of the brothel, I began to fugere into another part. When, look, interjection, in the approach itself, or in the opening or the doorway itself, they ran into me, equally tired and dying, Ascultius. Putres, you would think, by the same little old lady, he had been deductumed, he had been led here. And so, as a smile, I greeted him. What are you doing in such a deformed place? What are you facerating here? What are you doing here? I quasivit, I asked. So what are you doing in such a ugly place? And Daily Dictionary, acento. Patchwork quilt, blanket or curtain made of old garments. There's an adjective, is it? Another noun as well. Later for something made of patchwork. So that was cento, which was the Daily Dictionary word here, where she's pulled back this blanket or quilt or curtain.